So Scott, you want to go ahead?
Yep, perfect. Mine's gonna be short and sweet because I have to leave here in 5 minutes. Um, all right. So since last week, not much change rate wise. Things have kind of just held where they were. So the as far as like rates, lending update, same as last week. What I wanted to share with you today, and I kind of had mentioned to it, I think a little to you, Chastity, when we spoke last week. So. I know I get a lot of referrals from this office regarding down payment assistance as well as outside down payment assistance from other agents. I'll be honest, for me, I it's partly because I believe they're the best ones for repayments and best for the consumer. But your CalHFA, your GSFA, your Chinoa are like the main DPA products that I work with. The other products, I'll be honest, the time and effort that it takes to do a deep dive into these, getting licensed for some of them, is n not worth the amount of time that has to be put in for what it brings back to me financially. They are a um, non-profit making type loan for the branch, whether it's my branch now or the company has worked prior to. So at Easy Fundings, we have a new down payment assistance loan person. Her name is Lauren. She
Oh,
is well versed and has access to just over 300 down payment assistance programs in the state of California. She has taken on this role within our branch, and she will handle the referrals would still come to me. I have a part that I have to do with doing the application and collecting all the paperwork up front. Once I've had or collected everything and completed the application, then I do an introduction and turn the file over to her. She is a no nonsense gal. Uh, T's crossed, I's dotted. She will not look at anything that is incomplete. If she asks for documents and they're not received within a set amount of time, she will push the file back. Some of these applications take her 6 to 9 hours to go through. And there
wow.
is a lot more documentation that is required as far as birth certificates, passports, social security card, your tax returns, forms that she needs completed up front. So I submitted my first one to her yesterday, and we'll see how the process goes. But she's been in the business for a long time. I've known her for a long time, so I just wanted to let now, because Chas, we were talking about MPHS. She
Yes.
will handle MPHS files, but along with MPHS, I don't think was one of her favorites. There's other avenues that she likes to look at. Um, I'm going to do an introduction. I'm going to see if we can maybe do a Zoom like this where I can introduce her to all of you because once I take care of the file and get it prepped, from there it's the introduction and then she will take over. She will be the one that will keep you up to date. She has a set conference line where she will only do calls, because this was one of the things that came up. She doesn't want to be accused of going after someone's real estate
Mhm.
agent seeking business. So she has a set conference line where it'll be the agent, the borrower, the LO who referred, and her to go over any updates, discuss file, answer questions. But I want to share that today because I know I get a lot of those questions. Like I said, I'm dealing with the main ones that are easy to go through, but she is gonna take on the role of these tougher tougher files and more assistance. Like I said, there's 300 programs. So one of the forms that has to be completed by the borrower is called a household intake form, and that person will complete it, and it will include any member of the household that is over the age of 18 that does work. They have to be included in this household form because some of these products require the information of who's going to be living in the property. So I'll get that set up. I know she's pretty busy right now, so I'm trying to coordinate a time to set up a Zoom to do the introduction with her. But I just wanted to let you know this is coming down the pipeline. It's already rolled out. Like I said, I submitted my first loan to her yesterday, but that's something that will be able to take advantage of now with, clients. And I know she has products that are, down to 580 credit score, some assistance up to 150,000 dollars. She's talked about layering, 4 and 5 assistance programs together to help a borrower get qualified. So her specific point is that when they are filling out that household, she'll ask, give me 3 to 5 cities that you're considering living in. That way she's not throwing all that information out. She's going to look at these specific cities to put together the pre-approval for that particular client. So that's what I got for today. And I'll let you know. And I did say last week that I was going to set up a training for this week. I totally forgot I've got a business function going on this week that's going to take up, 2 of my days this week, so I don't have time to throw that in. So I'm going to move it to the following week, and I'll send y'all the invite.
All right.
Thank you, Scott.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're very welcome.
Would you
I-
do me a favor and email us her? Is that how it works, her information, or do we submit to you and then you will give to her?
Yeah, you submit to me.
Okay,
Yep. Because she's still
wonderful.
handling her own business. She doesn't want to be bombarded with outside stuff. So we kind of have a flow set up as far as what or how it's to be done with referring over.
Wonderful.
I'll still
Okay,
be the main contact. I'll put the file and everything together. And then once I have a complete set of what she requires, then I do the introduction and then we take it from there.
wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
Scott, I do have one quick question or request for you. It's not really related to what we were talking about, but with easy fundings with this new office, are you guys doing bridge loans at all?
We do have a bridge loan option, yes.
Okay, would you email me some details on that, please?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Bridge. All right. I will do that later because, like I said, I'm stepping out right now. I got something
No
going
rush.
on.
Take your
I'll be
time.
back in
Yeah.
like 2 hours.
No worries. Take your time. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. All right.
Thank
Thank you all. I got to run. Have a great meeting. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Yes,
Scott.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, so I am so happy that you're all here because I want to introduce you to Luisa. She comes to us with 2.5 decades of industry experience. She's now serves as our escrow officer for Good Deeds Escrow. We got somebody else coming on. There we go. She specializes in residential purchases, foreclosures, and short sale transactions, which we may have one coming up. Luisa prides herself in providing the highest level of service. I can attest to that myself. I've only worked with her for a couple of weeks now, but she is very precise, details driven, which I personally love. Let's see, she mixed with a positive attitude that puts the client at ease. I totally agree. Perfect attitude. She's enthusiastic about her work. Luisa welcomes the opportunity to establish lasting relationships with new and existing clients by demonstrating her commitment to the task at hand and remaining focused on getting everyone to the close of escrow. When working with Luisa, you can be assured that she will be proactive in resolving any issues that arise throughout a transaction while surpassing your expectations this time, next time, and every time. So with that, I want to turn it over to Luisa to just tell a little bit about herself and then open it up for a few questions. Luisa, why don't you take, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah.
to give
Thank
everyone a
you.
little introduction?
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate the introduction. Hi, everyone. As Bobby mentioned, I'm Luisa Orellana, and I have over 2.5 decades of escrow industry experience, and not just escrow, but I've had the privilege of taking on several roles in the industry. So I've served as project manager for high-rise condominium projects in San Francisco. I worked with a big Canadian developer prior to moving back to Southern California and coming back into escrow. So I was doing new construction then. So here I am now dealing with the new change in the market, helping the new millennial generation jump into condos and townhouses and mobile homes. So we're seeing a lot of movement in that. So I'm happy to join California Curb Appeal and also expanding and helping that grow. Any questions you guys may have, you can email me, call me, look me up on LinkedIn. I have several, references there as well. But I'm always available on my cell phone. I know sometimes people always complain that reaching the escrow officer is one of my major pet peeves. So if I'm away from my desk and I can't reach a phone, if I step to the restroom and you're calling me, I most likely will pick up the call. I tell you.
That's service.
Yeah. So, that's the last thing I want is you complaining, saying, I can't reach my escrow officer. So I'm available to you. I mean, to me, real estate is real estate. It's never ending. It's the same thing with escrow. I'm available at all times. Again, any questions, feel free to ask.
Do we have any questions?
No, welcome.
Like, hi,
We're glad to
Monica.
have you on our team.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, like I mentioned, I mean, the goal is to grow and to provide you guys with, in the future, with escrow workshops. So I look forward to also educating and mentoring as well the new agents and also older agents, and just kind of brainstorm and take the lead when it comes to that business development. So again, don't just think escrow is just here to do paperwork. We're here to also encourage the growth all around, because if you get paid, I get paid. So, so my motivation is to be on your team always. Thank you.
Fabulous. Oh, thank you so much, Luisa.
You're very
That was
welcome.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Do we have your contact information yet?
Yes,
Phone
so now
number?
I've been writing notations. If you guys can see, I notate everything. So I have all the participants here in today's meeting. I'll make sure to get all the emails from Reina, and then I'll send an introduction with my signature line, my cell phone number, my backup emails. If you guys can't reach me through the office email, just in case, you never know. So I'll send all that information out where you guys I'm available. So yeah, you guys can reach me.
Perfect.
I do have one quick question. So are you
Yes, Monica.
familiar with just residential transactions, or can you handle commercial or business sales, or what about sometimes we get like manufactured homes, things like that?
Right, yeah, I have done manufactured, I've done mobile homes, I've done vacant lots. The only thing I haven't jumped into is more like the bulk liquor licensing. I haven't done that in over 20 years.
Okay.
So like bulk sales and liquor licensing, that's not my specialty. But anything that has to do with residential, whether it's on wheels or foundation, that I can do. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Well, welcome. We
Thank
are so happy to have you.
Yes, pleasure, I'm
Feel
happy.
free to sit with us for the rest of the
Yes.
group, where Monica will be talking to us about what was the topic, Monica? I'll just let you take it from here. How about that?
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, hello, everybody. I wanted to talk today about something that I feel affects a lot of us in real estate. At one way or another, we're all going to feel it. And that's how you feel during appointments as far as your confidence levels, right? This is going to change, this is going to shift. And sometimes it's going to just do that on a daily basis, no matter what, because, there's lots of things that are going to affect your mood. But whether it's a buyer consultation, a listing appointment, maybe you're meeting with like a referral partner, or even if you're just following up on a conversation with somebody, your confidence matters because people can feel it right away, right? They can tell when an agent is prepared and calm and in control, And they can always tell if you are unsure or if you're feeling rushed or if you're, winging it, right? They can tell. The good news is that confidence isn't something that you either have or don't have. It feels that way, but it's not. It's something you can build. And you can build it even before you show up, even before you walk through the door at an appointment. Let's start with something obvious. The appointment, when you meet with somebody, whether it's on the phone or in person, that's where business is created, right? That's why we're always trying to get appointments. That's why we're not just chit-chatting here and there with people. We're trying to set actual business appointments with them. And this is where your clients decide if they trust you, if you know what you're doing, and they make a decision about whether or not they want to work with you, right? So the goal is to get the appointment. But the real goal is to walk in prepared enough so that you can lead that conversation, not just be reacting to what somebody is saying to you. And that's almost the difference between feeling a little bit confident versus just winging it, right? When you show up confident, you're not just representing yourself, right? You're representing California Curb Appeal, your brand, you as a professional, and you're showing them, this is how I can take care of people. This is how I work. So think of confidence as not being something like you're the loudest guy in the room and you take attention. It doesn't mean you're talking the most during a conversation. It doesn't mean you're trying to impress them and make them feel like, wow, that was amazing. It means being very clear in the conversation, being prepared, and leading the conversation and not just reacting to it, and being calm. Calm is one of those really important ones too, I think, that we overlook. Have you ever had one of those meetings with somebody that you feel like was just totally had it together? If you think back to that conversation, I guarantee you're going to think, you know what, they were very, very calm and they didn't rush and they knew what they were going to say before they said it. That's the difference. That's what makes you come off as a pro and confident. Whether or not you feel it, that's how it'll seem, right? So in thinking about how to do this, one of the biggest mistakes that agents make is thinking that your confidence is something that's just going to be there or not be there, and it's going to happen once the meeting starts, right? Like you have to like somehow drive it into yourself. But I don't think that's true. I think confidence can start way before that if you prepare properly. So if you want to feel a little bit more confident in a meeting before you go in there, there's some things that you should know, like who you're meeting with. What is it exactly that they want? What is the property that is in reference here? Have some information about that. What's the market doing? What questions should you be asking them that you need information about and that will help drive the conversation to figuring out what is the best solution for them, right? Also, you need to know, whether or not you say it right up front, you need to know what is the next step that you want to create, right? Is the next step for them to sign an agreement to work with you? Is the next step for them to get pre-approved? Is the next step for them to give you more information about their situation? What is their next step after this meeting? You need to know that walking in. So do a little bit of homework before, and you kind of feel like you're more prepared. You'll have a different energy going in there, even before you show up. Basically, you want to be in a situation where you're not just hoping it goes well, but you're expecting it to go well because you've prepared for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The prep could be something like reviewing the property details, right? You go online, you look it up on title, you look it up on the MLS, you find out information about the property, even if it's stuff that they didn't tell you. You can look at recent comps if this is a listing presentation. You can confirm the appointment the day before. Always do this. You never know what's going to shift and change, and you don't want to find that out 2 hours before. You want to review any details you have about your client's motivation or their goals. And if you don't have this, that's okay. You can get it during the appointment. But if you do have this information, know it in the back of your head. Write down your opening statement. How are you going to start this thing? Prepare a few questions that you want to ask. This alone can completely change your confidence level before you show up, and you feel more prepared. And when I say the opening statement, when I mentioned that before, one of the things that I think is the fastest way to feel super awkward on an appointment is to not know what to say right when you get there. To not know how to get it going. You need something strong and simple. I'm not talking about a speech. I'm not talking about something like a script, just something clear, an idea about why you're there and what you're there to accomplish, right? When you first sit down, you want to sound like someone who belongs in the room and who knows why they're there. That's what they're expecting from a professional, right? They're sitting down and going, okay, what now? And you need to tell them what now, right? You don't want to leave it up to them to lead the conversation ever, because they will if you let them, right? So you might say something like, thank you for meeting me today. My goal is really simple. I want to make this easy for you. I want to answer your questions and help you understand your options so that you can make the best decision possible for your situation. That tells them that you are trying to set the tone for what we're going to be discussing. That shows that you are going to be leading the conversation. It's professional, it's calm, it's not in too many places. It's just saying, here's what we're going to do today, right? Another thing you can say is, hey, before we dive in, I want to know a little bit more about what matters most to you and what you're hoping to accomplish. That's a way you can start too. Giving them an opportunity to talk and making them feel like the conversation is centered around them, but still putting you in the lead because you're the one asking questions, right? So these are ways that you can kind of start, but know how you want to start. Don't just walk in and say, okay, do you have any questions? What is it that you guys want to do? If you leave it too open-ended like that, I think it makes them feel like you're winging it. That's the best way I can put that. And you don't want to ever come off that way, even if you feels that way in the back of your head at times, right? So some better questions to ask during the conversation. When I said before, have good questions that you want to ask. When you're talking to a client or a potential client and you're having this meeting, you don't want to just talk. You want to ask good questions and then listen carefully to what they tell you. But the questions are more about helping you keep control of where the appointment's going and where the conversation's going without necessarily dominating it, right? You want to give them the opportunity to talk as well and to give you their point of view. So on a listing appointment, you could ask questions like, what made you decide to move now? What happened that you feel you need to do this or want to do this? Or what is most important to you in this process? These questions aren't just giving them an opportunity to connect with you and tell you about themselves and what their situation is, but it's also giving you important information, right? That you need to find the best solutions for them. When they tell you what's most important to you, to the process, they could be like, we're trying to get as much money as possible from the sale, or we need this to happen as quickly as possible, or, you know, my father passed away, so we need to sell the house, and it's very, very difficult for us to do that right now. You know, they could be giving you all kinds of info. But you can also ask things like, have you done this before? Have you sold a property before? Do you understand the process a little bit? Or what do you want to know about the process? Do you have any special concerns or questions? Things that are worrying you? And for sellers, that's usually, how am I going to buy a house and sell a house at the same time? Always the top one, right?
Yes.
Even if you're not going to answer these questions, you can ask them and find out where they're at. Make your notes. You're not there necessarily to give them solutions immediately. You're there to gather information and get their point of view. And make them feel like they're being heard, because people don't want you to walk in and just start throwing options, not really realizing what's best for them, right? Another really good question that you can ask in either a buyer or a seller scenario is, what does a successful outcome look like for you? Right? At the end of this, you're thrilled. What does that look like and why? You want them to envision it because, one, you want them thinking that you're going to give them that, right? So you want them already picturing that. And it's going to help you to have that information. They're basically going to end up telling you what's most important to them when you ask them that question. On a buyer appointment, it might be a little different. You could ask, again, like what's prompting this? What's making you feel like you want to move right now? Or buy a property right now, or buy an additional property right now for whatever, you know, wherever they're at. What areas are you considering? What's most important to you in a home versus things that you want versus things that you need? Is there any specific timelines that you're working with that you need to work around? And of course, always ask about, have you spoken with a lender, or have you gotten pre-approved? Those kinds of questions. So asking about their qualifications, maybe, again, you're just gathering a little bit of intel. You're not necessarily saying, here's my solution, but you're letting them give you their point of view and where they're at. And this helps to slow the conversation down so it doesn't go too quickly, because you're going to have a little bit of back and forth, right? You listening to their answers. It will help to make you sound thoughtful. They will feel like they're being heard, and you're not just talking just to sell, right? And it gives you the space to guide the appointment, right? A little bit slower, intentional. Confidence is supposed to look like you asking good questions and then you shutting up and pausing, because they need a minute. They need a minute to process what you just asked them and think about their answer and then give you their answer, right? Then you listen to what they have to say, and then you can respond clearly. And sometimes that response can be, I understand very well what you're saying. I'm going to jot that down. I want to make sure I have that information. It might not necessarily be a response that says, well, here's what I think I should do based on that. But that pause after you ask a good question is crucial. You don't need to fill every silence with something, right? Ask them and then let them hear it. And then just give them a minute. You know, we're not in a rush. Have your coffee, take a drink, whatever you're doing, right? Give them a minute. And when they feel like they're not being pushed and rushed, they will connect with you more. So just be mindful of that one when you're asking questions. Even if you know what they're going to say, right? Pretend like you don't. Another thing that can help to make you feel a little bit more confident is not trying to be perfect, right? A lot of agents, I feel, lose confidence because they think they have to say everything perfectly. You don't. You just need to be prepared, be genuine, be clear. Clients, they're not expecting a performance, right? They're just coming down to sit and talk to you. They're looking for someone that they can trust. And trust comes from being clear with your communication, confident in your process and your systems, being a good listener, and then giving them that feeling that you are like rock steady, like you are not at all worried, you got this, right? If you make a small mistake, you're talking about something and you realize, oh, I said that weird, or I messed that up, or don't say, oh wait, actually that's not what I meant this. Just keep going. Most of the time they have no clue that maybe you gave some misinformation there, or that you left something out, or that you said the wrong thing. Half the time they have no clue. And I think the biggest thing with feeling confident and coming off confident too is that it looks like you just never miss a beat. You recover smoothly all the time, right? Whether or not you know that in the back of your head, you want to try doing that. The more you practice that, the better you get at it. Roll through the oopsies, right? You don't have to stop everything and acknowledge it and go back and all that. Not necessary, Sometimes you might have to come back and correct something true, but the majority of the time, just keep going, listen well, and try to always make them feel like you got this and you know what you're doing. Whether or not you feel that way, they should feel that way. That's how they trust you, and then decide, hey, you know what? She's got this. I don't need to talk to anybody else. Let's do this, right? So, preparation, that can help you feel more calm. Calmness comes from knowing that you are ready. Because think of it this way. When you are not calm, when you're nervous about something, it's because you're almost fearing a little bit of the unknown, right? You're not sure exactly what's going to happen. You're not sure if you have all the materials you need. You're not sure if you're going to be saying the right thing. If you can eliminate that, and then you start to feel a little bit more calm. So being ready before an appointment, being prepared, will help you to feel more calm, and that will help you to feel more confident. So before an appointment, you can, do little things like review the client and property data. You can review your talking points. Here's the things I want to cover during this meeting, right? The important things I want to go over. Have all your materials ready. Don't be putting stuff together last minute. That's going to make you feel frazzled, right? Have it ready the day before, the night before. Confirm that meeting. Like I said before, the day before, ideally, sometimes the morning of, if it's like a really late meeting, like at 7 or something, and give yourself time to arrive early, at least 10 minutes, where you can sit in your car and you can just, you know what I mean? Do that. You check your breath, you check your makeup, you do what you need to do to like just calm yourself down. Don't be rushing in there after an errand, or don't be taking a call right before, or have something else that distracts you. Just take a breath, shift yourself into like professional mode. I'm professional. Damn it. You know what I mean? Make sure your outfit's good, Don't have loose hairs like me. I don't know, I'm losing so much hair. There's always loose hairs. All these little things can make you feel so confident. I can't tell you, okay, this has happened to me twice and so embarrassing. Oh, I came back from a meeting, and in the before a meeting, you're checking yourself in the mirror, you're making sure the makeup's okay and all that stuff, and you go in. But this has happened twice after coming out of a meeting, and I realized I came back and I had this huge chin hair. As a girl, this is just mortifying.
Yes.
And of course, probably nobody saw it, because even I didn't see it. I don't know how many times I looked at myself in the mirror the day of, as I'm getting ready. But in the right light, in the car, I'm like, oh my God, that was there the whole time. I'm just saying, like, check yourself before you go. The more, if you feel like, hey, I got to put together, I'm good. You know what I mean? You're going to walk in there feeling that way, right? So give yourself time for this so that you don't walk in feeling like, oh God, but the outfit's not right, or my hairs look crappy, or whatever it is, or I don't have my information together, or I'm scrambling to like put notes together. Don't do that last minute, right? So just those are things that can help you feel a little bit more calm and put together right before you arrive. And the other reason that I think some agents can feel a little nervous is because they feel like they have to wait for the potential client or the person they're talking to take over the conversation. And you don't. You're there to lead the conversation. You don't need to just put a blanket question like, well, what would you like to talk about? Or what questions do you have? That's not controlling the conversation. And controlling doesn't mean taking control of it and necessarily, it just means guiding it. It means being intentional about why you're there, right? You should know how to move the appointment forward so you don't get stuck in weird spots of like, okay, what do we do now, right? You don't want to ever have that moment, that feel. You're going to obviously start with some kind of rapport and building that a little bit and getting to know each other for briefly. But then you have to get right into asking these discovery questions that we talked about before. Get information, get them talking to you and trusting you with that info that they're giving you. And then present some ideas clearly so that they understand. And when they don't, you answer their questions or their concerns or whatever. And then you explain, well, what's going to happen now? What should happen now? What is the next step? Perhaps the next step is just them making some decisions about what is best for them, or reviewing something, or maybe the next step is you getting some data together and sending it to them, or maybe the next step is for them to get some data and going and talking to a lender. You got to tell them what's going to happen now that we discussed all this. So if the conversation ever starts drifting, knowing these things ahead of time of how you want to move the appointment along, it helps you to kind of guide it back where it should be. Have these notes on your paper so that you can say, okay, I got that done. I got that, like know where you want to go with it. And if the client is unsure about stuff, help guide them. Well, here's maybe more specific options. Which do you think would be better? Or here's a way to think about it so that you can come to a decision about something or an understanding about your options. If they ask a question, answer it as directly and as confidently as you can. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. You can confidently tell them that you will research it and review it and get back to them tonight, right? Or tomorrow, or whatever the time you set. The more comfortable you are with leading that conversation and not just leaving it open-ended, the less nervous you'll feel. Because when it's open-ended, anything could happen. They could ask about anything, they could get into anything, and then you're like, oh God, what if they do this? What if they do that? And there's too many what ifs, right? When you're leading, you know what you're going to be discussing. So, one other thing that I think maybe it's just a little weird, but whatever, I think it works. And I do this all the time, is to practice stuff like this out loud. Talk to yourself. I know I'm here alone, so I could do it all day long. Truth be told, I do it everywhere, so people think I'm weird, but that's okay. To build confidence in saying certain things or leading a conversation or having an opening or explaining something, I think saying it out loud and hearing yourself say it is crucial. A lot of the agents practice in their head. We practice scenarios, right? They say this, I'm going to say this. They ask this question, I'm going to say that. But hearing yourself explain something and saying something is totally different. It matters. Practice your questions. Practice how you ask them. Practice how you explain options and answers and how you explain your value, right? You should know these things. You shouldn't want to have to come up with this on the spot. Practice how you transition from one topic to another, because that's not always easy to do. You have to be able to carefully and professionally guide them. Okay, great. I'm glad you understood that. This is the other thing I want to talk to you about, or let's move on to this because this is really important. I want to make sure you know it. Practice doing these things. The more you hear yourself say it out loud, the more natural it becomes. You can do it with a friend. You can do it by yourself. You can do it in front of a mirror. I use my phone a lot. You can use your phone and record yourself as if you're talking to somebody and play it back and see what do I look like? What do I sound like? Does it sound like I've got this, or does it sound like I'm making it up as I go? Right? It's gonna feel silly in the beginning, I know, but it works. I promise you, repetition makes all the difference in the world. And it takes away a little bit of that fear of, I don't know how they're going to take this. When you know what you sound like, it definitely takes that away. So, some simple things you can do overall to build the confidence just based on what we talked about. Prepare, right? Know who you're meeting with and why you're there and what the goal is. Have a plan for how the appointment is going to go. How are you going to start it? What you're going to gather, what intel you're going to gather, and what is the next step? What are you trying to lead to during that meeting? What should happen at the end? Ask good questions that will help guide the conversation through important items that you need to get through, and say your talking points out loud. Say your opening out loud. Practice that. And most importantly, just slow down. You know, it doesn't have to be fast. You don't have to blah, 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 give them all at once. I swear to you, the slower you go, the more you pause, the more they're going to hear what you're saying. Because the faster you go, the less they'll be able to keep up. And at the end of the day, a lot of the information that you're giving them, if you're giving them information rather than just getting info from them, they're going to maybe hear and retain 25 to 50% of that if you're lucky. So the more that you can pause and let them hear it, the more that you can slow down and give them an opportunity to ask a question if they don't understand something, the better. And the less they'll feel like they're just being bulldozed. Nobody wants to feel that. So for your next appointment, I would just advise that you try doing at the very least a few things, like writing down your opening line and some questions to ask, and practice that a little bit out loud. You know, do all the other things if you have time as well, but at the very least do that. Just so that you don't sound like you're winging it, and because you want to sound as confident as possible, you want to be able to create that or build that trust because they feel like, hey, she's got this. And once they feel that, that leads to business. That leads to them deciding they want to work with you or refer you or whatever, right? So I would say just remember, the more prepared you are, the more confident you're going to feel. The more confident you feel, the better you're gonna lead that meeting, and hopefully to what your goal is. And the better you can lead it, the more the client will trust you and want to start working with you. So try that. Go get some appointments and practice, practice, practice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions? I actually have one question. You mentioned, following the meeting that it's likely that your clients or your prospective clients will want to have some time to discuss the next step on their own. What do you recommend as far as a time frame to let them do that?
Well, I think it depends on what they're trying to decide, right? So, if it's, for example, a listing appointment. Ideally, that should be the end goal of a listing appointment, is them signing a listing agreement with you, right? And deciding to move forward. If the question isn't whether or not they want to work with you, but the question is how they want to do that, timing, things like this, then by all means, you take your time. We can work on that together, right? If the goal is to get somebody to decide, I'm signing an agreement and choosing to work with you as my realtor, I would say they're always going to ask. They're always going to ask for time to discuss it. And from my perspective, I would want to know why. What is it that you haven't been able to figure out yet that leads you to say, I need to discuss this and think about it more? Because the truth is, if they're giving you that answer, I need to think about this before I make a decision, what they're really telling you is, I still have unanswered questions. And there's something that you haven't told me yet that will help me decide yes or no. They don't need more time. They need more info.
Right.
That's usually the case. So if that's the answer I'm getting, I will always try to guide it back towards, well, what else can I answer for you that will help you make that decision? Or what information don't you have yet that will help you make that decision? Because if they just say, well, we have all the information and we just want to think about it. Really? If you had all the information you needed about something, then why wouldn't you just make a decision? Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It, logically speaking. So, I'm not saying I wouldn't give people time, but generally speaking, that's not what they really need. What they really need is more conversation to figure out whether they want this or don't want this, or how they want it. Right? Now, the truth is sometimes they're speaking to other agents, and their request for time is simply I want to compare you with somebody else, or your options and your pricing and your qualifications, or what you're offering with what that guy is doing, right? That's fine. I feel good about what I'm offering you. Go ahead, compare. I'll call you back tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm not wasting time. Tomorrow. Or if the appointment's in the morning, I'll call you back tonight. You know, I don't see any reason why we should be giving people days and a weekend. And no. I'm about getting this done personally. Now, if they're leaving for vacation tomorrow and they need, it's all timing, it's all situational, right? So, I feel like if I truly know that I've made the right connection and I've given them all the information I need to give them, and they need a little bit of time because they're reviewing somebody else or for some other reason, fine. But I try to keep that window small. If they're asking for like, oh, well, let's think about it over the weekend, we'll call you next week. No. I'm sorry. No, that's BS. That's when I get back into the conversation and ask them more questions to find out what's really going on there. Because if I'm getting an answer like that, that's a blow off answer.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to work with me. It just means they don't want to make a decision right now. And that could have nothing to do with me. Them not wanting to make a decision could have everything to do with something completely different that they just haven't told me about yet, because maybe they don't feel there's enough trust there yet. So that's when you got to go back in and find out what's really going on.
I love that answer, Monica.
Yeah.
That was so insightful, because I think a lot of agents get that answer. And even though our gut says you're lying to me and you're trying to blow me off, we don't know what to do after that. So we say, okay, and we accept that. And I love your take on it where you're not going to accept it. You're going to dig deeper. You're going to find out what the truth is. And then we can either work through that together or we can't. But leaving the conversation at that, where you're walking away feeling about your appointment, which probably went very well, is unacceptable. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I was just gonna add that oftentimes it's paired with their motivation. So once you've spoken with them about their motivation, their answer to whether or not they're gonna sign is paired with that motivation. So you might have been on that listing appointment and they were looking to sign in the summer, but you're there in April. Well, clearly it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with their motivation. So once you get that in the conversation, which Monica, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you. Once you do all the steps that Monica says, you would have those things for deductive reasoning as to why they may want to hold off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
great
all
job.
timing. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
timing. But it's also understanding that if you get a request like that and you just accept it, and it might not be that request, it might be a different one, right? Well, then now you've put everything back in their hands. You've put control of the situation right back into their hands.
Bingo.
It's not what you want, and it's not what any other professional would do, right? You have to remember, if I was sitting down with a lawyer, I'm expecting him to tell me what's what, right? And so you have to act as if that's unacceptable to you, you have to tell them, and then you have to give them some options for how they can get back to you or get back into the conversation and figure out what's really going on there. There's nothing wrong with you saying, yeah, that doesn't work for me. You know, you don't have to put it in a way that is rude or anything like that, but you can say, here is how I work. And I don't just wait around. Same way that I don't just do free work for you until you decide you want to sign a contract. Can't believe people were doing that before. That blows my mind. So you just have to tell them what your standard is, what you're willing to say yes to, and if you're not, then you say not. You don't do it just to appease, because now you're just you're setting a bad standard right from the start.
Right.
And you're also showing them that that other people can easily out-negotiate you.
Hello.
You know,
I mean, what are
like
they
if they
hiring
can
you
talk to
do?
you into that, right? Like that easy. Well, that doesn't bode well for you, doing the best deal for them.
Right.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. All right. Well, are there any other questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, who's got questions?
All right. Well,
Question.
anyone? Okay.
I'll
All
say
right,
this.
well-
I'll say this. Ashley's level of confidence I know she won't say it, but it's gone from about here to here. It's getting a lot better. And she's freaking out before the appointment a lot less. So, yay, Ashley.
Yay.
I'll say, hey, crash out before you lock in, right?
But you are,
Nice.
yeah. I could see that it's like now you almost feel like, well, before it was, I definitely don't have this. I have no clue. Now it's, I probably have this. Maybe I'm still freaked out, but maybe I've got it.
Yeah, it's called you have a bunch of work on your plate and you need to work through your feelings so you can do the job. And I'm just doing better at working through those feelings.
There you go.
And it's definitely a self-growth thing, but it's great. And I'm grateful that I'm on the other side of that to an extent, because it's still present, but it's not as bad.
Right.
So,
Well, Ashley, we can
Yeah.
all say you're 10 times better than you think you are.
Yes.
You've got it.
Amen.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
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 Speaking truth here from all of us.
Thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we have a list of clients. Adams has a client. He's going to be showing homes to a family member here real soon. So yay.
Oh, and
And
you
he's
have
showing
yourself
up
a
tomorrow.
land listing as well, right?
That's so nice.
That's
Really,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So excellent. Any other, do we want to shout out any other wins? I think I heard Trina had something going.
Trina and Ashley are going to do a listing together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right on. Yay.
Nice.
I know, newbies. We got this.
We do got this. All right. Anybody else before we wrap it up?
Bill's working with a client.
Oh, Bill, yay.
Are you on there, Bill? DD? He connected with DD?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Congratulations.
I know you guys don't work
Thank
Orange County, but if you get any wind of like good deals for like a condo out there, let me know because I'm looking for a client of mine right now.
Okay.
Will it be a rental for them or
No,
buy?
they're gonna buy it and hold it. And he's gonna live in it while he's holding the property, but he's like, I don't care if it's a dump, I just need a good deal.
I have Gigi's listed for 199. And I was doing the numbers. He can go Section 8 with that for over 2,000 a month.
It's
Yeah, but
pretty
where is it?
phenomenal.
Where is it?
Highland.
Oh
Well, he
yeah,
said-
no, it's too far. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a good
Chad.
deal, I think.
I know.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I was
Chad.
saying, like, I know you guys don't work Orange County, but if you get wind of anything, let me know.
Yeah. Yes, Ashley.
If you send me figures and stuff on that, I can blast it out to my network and all the renters we have because that's kind of within the range of what they were looking for.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
let's pair it with my with my cabin.
Okay.
Let's put them both together because
Sure.
I got a cabin for just over 2 also.
Okay.
Oh.
Sweet. Well, I know he's looking for something in Orange County, but his investors are really
Yeah.
just looking for a good deal. So truth is, I mean, I can work both, one for him and then one for like anywhere else because they don't really care. They're just backing the financial side. So
Right. Well, I'm thinking if you run numbers, that's what I did yesterday with Gigi's property, is I ran numbers and I compared it to what Section 8 will pay for a 2-bedroom in that area, which we can do for Crestline as well. And if we do that, the pickings are slim for investors right now. So if they can get their money back that way, I think it's a win.
That's a huge win.
you ran the numbers on that. What does the ROI come out to, like roughly? Is it
I didn't do that much, but at least
It's like 10 on that one.
yeah.
10? Really? I mean, like double
Really?
digits is freaking awesome. Okay.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up for today. It was a great discussion. I appreciate everyone taking the time and spending some time with us. We will do it again next Tuesday at noon. Welcome, Luisa.
Welcome.
Thank you, Monica. And thank you to congratulations to all the wins today. This is good. This was a good time.
I just want to point out everybody that's here and this has something going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal.
And it really tells you that this is an important group to be at.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.